Hello everyone. In this demo, we will learn how to create a snapshot standby database to meet the requirement temporary updatable snapshot of your physical standby database. We will see how to convert a snapshot standby database back to a physical standby database. A snapshot standby database is a fully updatable standby database that is created by converting a physical standby to a snapshot standby. So a snapshot standby receives and archives but does apply redo data from a primary database. The redo data received is applied when the snapshot standby is converted back to a physical standby database after discarding all the local updates to the standby snapshots database. So whatever changes we have done to the standby snapshots database, that will be discarded. You can be creating this using data guard manager line mode or SQL commands. When a standby database is converted to a snapshot standby, an implicit guarantee restore point is created and automatically applies to the primary database redo that was archived by snapshot standby database since it was created. The guarantee restore point is dropped after the process is completed. Then why would you want to be using a snapshot standby database for tests? It is an updatable database and you make all the changes, you test everything, and when you are finished with your testing, you then convert it back to the regular standby database. And the flashback will take place and will put the database back to where it was before. It is updatable, but you do not want it to be updatable for a too long period of time. So to convert a physical standby database to a snapshot standby is fairly simple if you are using a data manager line mode. You connect the database that you want to be your snapshot standby to a snapshot standby, and it will make all of the changes that are going to be necessary. Let me show you how I can convert a physical standby database to a snapshot standby database. On the primary side, let me connect using the data guard manager command line utility. I am now seeing my configuration. So this is my primary database and this is my standby database. So this I am going to convert it to snapshot standby database. If you see here, the intended state is apply on. When you convert a physical standby database to a snapshot standby database, the apply is off, as I said earlier. So the actual command will be I should use convert instead of connect. Now the database is converted to snapshot standby. See here, now it is a snapshot standby database. Now there are certain concerns you may have with this. When activating a snapshot standby database, be aware of potential data loss with a corrupted log file. Remember, the snapshot standby database accepts redo logs but does not apply them. If there is a corrupted redo log file of the snapshot standby, it is not discovered until it is converted back to the physical standby and the managed recovery process is started. So, primary database is unavailable at that time. There is no way to retrieve that log, and if there is a problem with that file, you may not be able to reconvert it. You also have the concern of lengthy conversion of the snapshot standby in the event of failure. The read has been received but has not been applied yet, but it has so much information in there. If we cannot do all of the apply, you may be running into more problems because the redo logs may be having their problems. Also remember, the longer you are in the snapshot standby, the longer it takes to be able to flash everything back because there is more information in there. Snapshot standby is meant for being a testing type of environment. There are some restrictions when we are dealing with the snapshot standby. The snapshot standby database cannot be the only database in a maximum protection configuration. The snapshot standby cannot be the target of a switchover because there are changes being made and also cannot be part of a fast start failover target. Now if you see here, earlier apply is on. Now because as it is converted to snapshot standby database, the apply is off. Let me also verify the status of standby from the SQL. It is now a snapshot standby database. Now I can switch it back to the physical standby database. But before switching it back to the physical standby database, I want to do a small testing on the snapshot standby database. I will do some updates to the snapshot standby database, and again after converting it back to the physical standby database, I will see if I have these updates available on the physical standby database or not. So let me see. Now my database is open for read write. So let me do some modifications. User, and let me also create a table space. So I'm going to create a test table space. I'm also verifying the operating system file either created or not, because after switching it back to the physical standby, it will the OS file will also be deleted. It will be taken care automatically. Let me also increase one of the file size. Alter database data file. I'm increasing this file size to 500. Right now it is 210. I am increasing the file size to 500. Now let me find size once. It is now 500. Now after doing all these updates to the snapshot standby database, let me go back to my primary side where I have connected to primary side using DGMGRL. Here I am converting the database back to the physical standby database. Now it is successfully converted back to physical standby database. Let me verify the configuration. Now see SBY it is now converted back to physical standby database. Now if you see, the apply on is set. Earlier when it is a snapshot standby database, the apply is off. Now let me verify on the standby side whether the modifications or updates done when the database was snapshot standby database, they are still available or they are removed. It is now physical standby. The open mode is now mounted. Let me see the user if he exists or not. Let me open the database and verify. I can open this database because the database is still in mounted stage. It is not in recovery mode. Now let me verify. We still have the Scott user, but in snapshot standby database we deleted Scott user. Also let me verify the table space. We do not have this table space available. Let me see the OS level file whether it exists or not. We do not have the OS file as well. Let me verify the size of the file which I modified. The database was in snapshot standby mode. Now it is back to 210 M. In snapshot standby database I modified the size to 500 M. Now it is back to 210. Now from these examples, it is very clear that the updates done to a snapshot standby database are for temporary purpose, and whenever the database is converted back to a physical standby database, all the modifications done to a snapshot standby database will be dead, and the redos from the primary will be applied, and the database will become again a physical standby database. This ends the session on converting a physical standby database to snapshot standby database. Thanks for watching this demo.